Waitress, what's this fly doing in my soup?
Why, Deputy Splash, I hear that you're the champion swimmer. So why don't you tell me what it looks like that little old fly is doing in there?
Well, okay, kinda looks like the IM. The 400 IM. And I don't feel too hungry anymore. Hey, Doc!
Deputy Splash.
Doc, how you been? How's the inventing work going?
Oh, could be better. I mean, the inventions are going fine. Marketing strategy, venture capital, those are my biggest problems. My latest work is fairly simple, but it is so revolutionary. A round rubber tube, which makes for a very comfortable ride. But everyone still wants those wooden wheels for their wagons.
Ah, don't you give up, Doc. You're sure to produce a winner, eventually. Those things float great.
Yeah, they do float quite good, but the child's toy was not really my intention. I've got hundreds of those toys sitting around in the barn behind my workshop.
Oh well. Hey, what was that? Didn't sound like it came from the mining camps. That came from the south. I need to stay here in town on account of the sheriff's being away on business. Hasty, you and those men ride down and investigate that noise and bring me a report.
Yes, Deputy Splash, right away.
It's Phineas Fishhead.
Phineas?
So, Splash, we meet again. I'm just in town to get some supplies. I'll be on my way soon enough.
I think that's wise of you, Phineas. Remember, there is law and order out here. And right now that's me, on account of the sheriff being out of town and all.
Oh? So where is Sheriff Peabody?
Well, he's gone west 10 miles to help settle some dispute in those mining camps. All their dynamite is missing.
How interesting. Well, Splash, till next time.
Yeah. I wonder if he's up to something.
Deputy, there's been a collapse at the south end of the gulch. Looks pretty bad. Tain't nobody gonna be traveling by stagecoach in or out of this valley.
Well, I'll be.
Later that day, Phineas had made his way north, high into the mountains, just below Dagger Peak. The highest peak within 100 miles. It was covered with snow and those great rivers of ice known as glaciers.
Look at that view, Tsunami. All Avalanche Gulch will soon be ours, once my ingenious, diabolical, and dastardly plan is set in motion.
I ain't really sure I get this plan of yours, Phineas.
Oh, just wait, my dear. In 3 days, everything will have changed. First, we blast the south end of the valley to create a perfect bathtub. Then we'll fill the tub up to drive the settlers out. Then we get our pick of beachfront property.
How are we gonna fill this tub up? No one's got that much water.
Oh, my sweet little hoopski-doo Tsunami. You poor little naive woman. What would you do without me? Why, the water for our tub is right under your nose.
Now Phineas once again laid out the dynamite he had stolen from the miners. This time he put it all around the base of those glaciers, and that fiendish, self-centered, egotistic, uncivilized,
Keep going.
ruthless, cantankerous,
Crazy.
despicable man, Phineas, chuckled, then laughed, then guffawed.
Sue, do you want to do the honors? Just push this plunger right here. And now run!
Land's sakes! Another explosion! This time from the north. Go get Doc, Hayseed. Right up there and find out what's going on. Bring me a report, pronto!
Deputy Splash, we've just come from the north end of the canyon, and explosions have shaken things up pretty bad. I'm afraid more than half of the glacier has slid down the mountain.
Anyone hurt?
No, I don't think so, but the situation is very serious.
Well, how do you mean, Doc?
That huge river of ice is now piled up on the floor of the canyon. We don't get cold enough at night down here to keep it frozen. No, it's all gonna melt. That water's got nowhere to go. By tomorrow, 6 inches of water will cover the ground. By next day, 6 feet. And after 3 days, all that will be left of Avalanche Gulch will be a lake. 5 miles long, half a mile wide, and 36 feet deep. All you're gonna be able to see of this town is the church steeple and the clock on the courthouse.
Sharks and shipwrecks, what a disaster! And this is my first week of soloing on the job. Wow, deputy school never prepares you for this.
I'll order an evacuation, and we can hike up the old Indian trails on the east side of the canyon.
No, Mayor, we're gonna stay and fight.
What are you talking about? We can't fight this. Yeah, you think all this water is just gonna go down the drain? Well, actually, it will eventually, though it will take 238 years, 7 months, and 28 days. I did the calculations myself.
No, I think there may be another way altogether. Doc, you said that you've got hundreds of them rubber tube thingies, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Mayor Smith, put the word out across town and throughout the valley. Have everyone meet me at Doc's. I've got an idea.
So Deputy Splash gathered all the folks from across the valley at Doc's and made his famous, historic, and inspirational address to them.
Fellow citizens of Smithville, Watson, and all you residents of this fine valley, the waters are beginning to rise. Yes, it's true.
What are we gonna do?
How can we stop the waters?
Well, we can't stop the water. No, I don't think we even want to try. Let me put it this way. It was the great William Shakespeare who used the expression, sink or swim. And I think that now is the time we taught this here whole valley to swim.
Well, that's easy for you to say. You're a champion swimmer.
No, hear me out. Here in Doc's barn are hundreds of rubber tubes.
You mean those darn donut thingies the kids keep riding on in the creek?
Yeah, those donut thingies. You've all seen how well they float. They turn anyone into a swimmer. Now everyone, load your wagons with as many tubes as you can. Put them underneath your cabins and houses. Attach them to the sides of your barns. You men, take some of the very largest rubber tubes. Let's put them under the courthouse, the church, the schoolhouse, and the factories, the saloons, and all along Main Street. We're going to float this town, save all the buildings and ourselves.
Meanwhile, Phineas Fishhead and Tsunami were up high on the ridge, looking down at the settlements.
Pretty soon we should see these residents leaving in droves. They must have figured it out by now. I'm flooding them out.
I don't know, Phineas. Looks to me like something else is going on.
What? Hand me that spyglass. Blast that cursed Splash. He must be up to something. We're going to need to get down there and find out about that silly plan they have concocted.
Now, just like the Doc had calculated and Phineas had ruthlessly plotted, after a few days the valley floor was lost under the rising waters. But, thanks to Deputy Splash's ingenious plan and Doc's wonderful floating donuts, the town was spared. After a few days more, something else happened. The people began to lose their feeling of disaster and gloom and found instead a kind of special curiosity and excitement about how the town had changed. As Deputy Splash went about his rounds, people of the whole valley were expressing some of their tremendous excitement. Kids and whole families were playing and swimming in the water. Johnson, who had a wagon factory, said, "We're switching over and building boats now, and my brother-in-law, Evan Rood, says he wants to try putting motors in them. Look, there goes some Indians. Hey, Chief, where are you and all those braves going in those canoes?"
Buffalo hunt.
Buffalo hunt?
Water buffalo.
See, so the consensus of the town and the whole valley was that this had really been a sort of blessing in disguise. The people voted to change the name of Smithville to Swimville. The village of Watson became Watertown. Avalanche Gulch was renamed Opportunity Lake because of the marvelous new opportunities that had come everyone's way. Sometime later, when old Phineas got to town, the only one feeling gloomy was him.
This wasn't what I imagined was going to happen.
Look, there's Phineas.
Why, you low-down, good-for-nothing scoundrel. We know you're the one who flooded the valley. No, Smith. You're the low-down scoundrel stealing my land claim.
Gentlemen, please, Phineas, I want to thank you. You certainly intended this for evil, but it turned out to be good. Swimville is such a happy place now. Phineas, can I hug you?
Splash, hold on. Don't think you've won this fight so easily. I still maintain that I have the rightful claim to this valley, not Smith. He stole the deed from me. Yeah, but you stole it from someone else. Well, perhaps that's so. but I know a way we can settle this matter once and for all. Smitty, you're a gambling man like me. How about a wager on a little contest, winner take all? The deed, the valley, everything. And in keeping with the spirit of things around here lately, I propose a swimming contest. A race. A duel in the pool, so to speak. You produce your champion, Smith, and I'll produce mine. You're on, Fishhead. Why, everyone knows that Deputy Splash is the finest swimmer perhaps in the whole country. No doubt you're right, Soapy, but allow me to introduce my contender. The Thunder from Down Under, Croc McKieran.
G'day, g'day.
I hear he's never lost.
Hello, mates.
Look at those teeth.
Yes, he has been known to eat his competition after a race.
Maybe we could put an otter on the barbie.
Miss, you're not going to tell me that the big bad crocodile gets to eat the otter, 'cause if you do, I'm going to cry.
Oh, there, sweetie. Now don't you worry. This is the famous story of the OK Canal. A very, very important story from our history. Sometimes real life is painful, and sometimes it's full of surprises. Be quiet and let the all-important narrator finish her job. All right. Well, things got pretty colorful over the next couple of days, I can tell you that. Odds makers taking wagers on the race, vendors hawking cute little stuffed crocodiles and otters. It was a real circus. The media descended on the little valley. Really put Swimville on the map.
This is Howard Conchell here, bringing you coverage of the greatest aquatic sporting event of the century. The challenger amateur pool star Swimville's own Deputy Splash against the marvelous, undefeated, heavily endorsed Thunder from Down Under, Australian's own Croc McKieran. Folks, it just doesn't get any better than this.
And Bruce McElvaney here, all the way from down under to bring you the play-by-play, stroke-for-stroke analysis of this truly historic race. Howard, a pleasure to work with you, mate.
Splash, you gotta talk trash to your competition, you know? Intimidate them before the race.
Mr. Croc? Well, we're gonna smash you guys like banjos.
What's he talking about?
Never mind. Sorry about that. I don't have any ill will towards you, Croc. In fact, I'm a big fan. Can I have your autograph?
Sure, mate.
The course will be from the courthouse down Main Street, out across Oliver Kay's old horse pastures, out to Watertown and back again. The first to swim in and climb up the courthouse steps shall be declared the winner.
Any rules?
Rules? No rules. Anything goes.
I wouldn't worry, my little friend. Just don't get too close, and you won't get hurt. You have my word.
Will the swimmers please get to their places? Ladies and gentlemen, in the blue corner, representing Swimville, America and all of your futures, weighing in at 25 pounds, 4 feet snout to tail, the Mudhole County champion, Deputy Splash. And in the green corner, representing to Uluru, Queensland, Australia, Qantas, Adidas, Foster's, and Mr. Phineas Fishhead, weighing in at 3,047 pounds, 25 feet,
And an inch.
snout to tail, the international swimming champion of the world, Croc McKieran. Swimmers ready? Get set.
And they're off. Croc has launched into an incredible streamlined dolphin kick all the way down Main Street. He's a virtual blur in the water, kicking up a wake that's going to have waves crashing all over this valley. Sweet Matilda. He's not called the Thunder from Down Under for nothing. What would you say, Howard?
Remarkable.
Quite. Now what about our challenger, the little weasel fellow? Looks like he's a few body lengths back. Or should I say quite a few body lengths back. Must be getting pretty good distance per stroke out of them tiny little paws, eh, Howard?
Truly remarkable.
And there they go, heading south through this gorgeous, newly flooded valley. Two would be lords of the lake, like Beowulf and Brecker, like the historic matchup of Perkins and Hackett, which is going to happen in only another 150 years. Right, Howard?
Truly, truly remarkable.
Right. Crikey, what's that?
Engines!
Looks like your local aborigines are out here to harpoon the great sea serpent. Ooh, Croc smashed that canoe like a toothpick, and it's going down like the Titanic will in another 62 years. Howard?
Remarkable.
Right, now the swimmers are making their way to the halfway point, the old flagpole of Watson, now called Waterville. McKieran's coming round the pole. He's passing by the little weasel and ooh, a mighty whack from the crocodile's tail sent that little fella sailing like a boomerang. Howard?
Ooh!
Right, that little guy Splash looks like a mite bit dazed and confused, he does. But he appears to be getting back in the race. Oh no, they're turning on their backs for a leg of backstroke. Wow, look at these two backstrokers go.
Simply remarkable.
Right, like Krazelberg and Walsh in another 150 years. Now, what's this?
Goodness gracious.
Totally crocodilic.
At this point in our story, something very curious and unexpected happens. Just at the south end of Swimville came the appearance of bubbling, boiling water, and from under the surface began to emerge some sort of underwater vehicle. The crowd is hushed, staring wide-eyed in amazement. Even the commentators are speechless. Both Croc and Splash have paused to observe this curious mechanical marvel. The underwater vehicle rose further into full view. From a steel door on top emerged Doc, smiling and waving at the crowd.
Hello, everybody.
What on earth is this newfangled boat thingy?
Oh, howdy, Deputy Splash. How's that race of yours going? I call this thing here my steel veil. It's my latest invention.
Doc, how'd you finally get it built?
Well, you might say I picked up a commercial endorsement.
Then emerging from the steel door next to Doc was our traveling salesman.
Greetings, everyone!
This whole thing is getting a bit bizarre.
Now that I have your attention, I have traveled all the way from Jefferson City to bring you what is, next to this thing I am standing in, one of the modern marvels of our time. Allow me to demonstrate the many wonderful uses of this ingenious contraption, known as the vacuum cleaner. Your carpets, furniture, draperies can all now be dirt and dust-free.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Right, my friend. And seeing as how you're a foreigner and all, I am prepared to make you a special deal.
I think I'll take two. I'll bring one home for me mum. It'll sure help her in tidying up her little home into Uluru.
Hey, Croc, get going.
Oh yeah, the race.
Come and see me after the race.
Looks like the River Otter got the jump on McKieran and he's heading into Main Street at the south end of town. Croc must realise his mistake, as he's making a furious charge with everything he's got left. Thrashing that mighty tail of his, he's almost striking the buildings on either side of the street. He's closing fast on the little contender, Deputy Splash. There's only about 50 yards to go to the finish line, which is, oh crikey, what's this?
Now, unbeknownst to everyone, early that morning, the last great chunk of ice from the glacier had slid into the north end of the lake. It had been floating slowly towards the town all day, with everyone's attention firmly fixed to all the action and curious events occurring to the south. No one had seen it coming. It had floated right down Main Street from the north and broke through the banner marking the finish line, completely blocking the way, just as Croc and Deputy Splash were a mere 10 seconds from their goal.
Howard, can you believe this?
No.
Our swimmers seemed to have seen the new wall of ice that was standing in their way, must have figured it to be the finish, for they both made an unbelievable lunge for it. Now, there are no videotapes to show us what happened exactly, but legend has it, and some would swear to it, that they saw the otter, Deputy Splash, make such a miraculous final effort, he quite literally walked on water. Croc raised his head, snapping at him to try to grasp the otter's tail with his magnificent jaws, but missed. Splash flung himself onto the iceberg. The crocodile came hurtling after. It was ice, otter, and 1.5 tons of crocodile.
Ooh.
And everyone was silent. No one moved for what seemed like an awfully long time. Finally, Croc rolled his monstrous body to one side, exposing one very smushed-looking otter pushed into the ice. His little eyes were looking off into space, his tongue was hanging out of his little mouth, and drool was dripping onto his shoulder.
Crikey, I killed the poor little bugger.
Well, Smith, neither one reached the finish line, but since your Deputy Splash has gone and died on you, I think we can declare Croc McKieran the winner.
Now, precisely at that moment, there was a sudden darkening of the sky. Everyone looked up in amazement as a total eclipse of the sun bathed the valley in a strange, ethereal light. After a short time, as the corona of fire appeared around the eclipse, a ray of sunlight struck the iceberg, causing a seemingly magical golden glow to appear on the hill of ice. All of the spectators were lost in the wonder of the moment. And then a very small child in the crowd pointed to the iceberg and called out one simple word.
Splash!
For at that moment, the irrepressible otter struggled free and bounded up the slope of the iceberg. Croc and everyone were so stunned they simply stood there with open mouths watching.
Unbelievable. There goes that spunky little river otter, bounding up the iceberg, and now he's sliding down the other side in true otter form.
Yeehaw!
That looks like fun. Now he's splashing into the water and scampering up the courthouse steps, and by crikey, he's won. He's your winner. Deputy Splash has won the race, and I'm really bloody happy for that little bugger. Tell me, Croc, anything you'd like to say?
This berg is really cold.
And now our champion.
I did it for Swimville. It's everyone's town, and no one can take it away from us. I would like to invite Croc McKieran up here on the victory stand with me. I propose that Swimville and Uluru should become sister cities, forever sharing our love of a watery world. Croc, come on up here and sing for us the Australian national anthem.
Waltzing Matilda, you come a waltzing Matilda.
Croc, I don't think that's quite right.
That's the way we sing in Uluru, mate.
And that is the legendary tale of how Swimville came to be.